warmed you up, brought you over to the dark side a little bit. I've been doing comedy for a few years, but I had quite a major life event about 18 months ago, and I've written some stuff about it. So strap in, kids.
All right.
I'm doing it first, and then I'll do the rest of my set, but I'm doing it first because I don't want you to hate me. We'll be all right. I feel like I've really oversold it. Okay, so I got into comedy because I had quite a tough time growing up. My mum suffered horrifically from mental health issues, and my dad was at work all the time. And sometimes, you know, there was such a disappointment, my parents, that I wanted to sit on them until they went numb and felt like someone else's mum and dad. Keeping that. So having a mum like mine did make for some interesting stuff, because she used to say some weird shit, such as, I'm going to have to go and put my nightie on, my neck aches. Turn that radio down, because I can't see. And my very favourite, I can't go for therapy, it will just bring up the past. So eventually my mum got a cancer diagnosis. Please don't go quiet. Making it hard, it's like giving birth. And the hospital said she's got 2 weeks to live. I know it was fucking awful, but my dad, with his usual aplomb, says, 2 weeks, I wish I bought that fucking Kindle for Christmas now. And just after she'd died, we went round to see my dad, me and my lovely other half, and Dad had lovingly washed and ironed the nightie we were sending her to be cremated in, and he chased my poor other half round the living room with it, making ghost noises. Okay, I'm not keeping that one. Moving on. Alright, so you guys earlier were saying you've been to Glastonbury, yeah?
Yeah.
Anybody else been to any festivals? A few of you. Okay, so festivals, they're a very different experience, not seen through the miasma of mind-altering drugs. Now, I gave up mind-altering drugs in about the 90s, I guess, when a 3-day coke binge turned me into an Evelyn Waugh character. This is such a dreadful party, darling. I don't think I've been quite so bored all year. And the thing about festivals as well is you meet people that you wouldn't meet anywhere else at all. Right? So, quite aside from Statutory Naked Man, we've all seen him. Did you see him when you went to Glastonbury? And generally... This is about him. He'll come and talk to you. This is probably why you married him, right? You're sitting on the floor. He'll come and talk to you. Hands on hips.
Yeah.
Legs akimbo. Yeah? So his jokes right in your face. I've had to ask my dad to stop doing that. You meet people that couldn't exist in the real world, right? Because you can't make a living selling bongs off a blanket. It's not a career choice. You're trouble.
Sorry.
Put me off my flow, shut up, drink. Bongs off a blanket. Right, yeah, and they're kids. They're poor kids. Sniffing up the fumes from the burger vans because they're just so desperate for some fucking protein. It's like a hideous reverse Alan Bennett play. Come away, Velvet Rainbow, your mother was all day with that quinoa. And there's these things called boutique festivals. Anyone ever been to a boutique festival? No. Jesus Christ, right. I learned 2 things from boutique festivals. The first one is that I am, if anything, too tolerant because I can have both wheat and dairy. And the other thing is, there's no such thing as cultural appropriation if you're middle class. I can tell you're all middle class. So, I went to one of these festivals and it had a champagne bar. I know, right? A champagne bar. And outside, parents were rolling corks down the hill for their kids to chase. Now, I don't know about you, but I was 25 before I found out that champagne, like the real stuff, doesn't actually have a little baby deer on the bottle? Is that how posh people's practice for school sports day? I don't know. Right, where was I going now? Hang on, bear with me. Thank you for your patience. Right, so I'm quite an angry person, and one of the ways I sublimate my rage is through comedy. And one thing that I'm finding very difficult to deal with at the moment is biscuits. Seemingly innocuous, crumbly treats, they're a social minefield. I'm at an age now where I'm going to an increasing amount of funeral teas. And you might think it's nice to take something to contribute to the funeral tea. People want to see a nice sombre biscuit, like a bourbon. They don't want to see party rings. Or even worse, happy faces. And whatever you do not theme your biscuit to the funeral. For example,
Bless you.
my friend's dad was killed in a hideous mugging gone wrong. So I went to his funeral and I was like, I know, I'll take some club biscuits. Thank you for those that did roll. Now, she hasn't spoken to me for about 6 years, which is a bit unfair because he was a shit mugger. Right, and another thing that I find it particularly difficult to cope with at the moment is, just general intolerance, really. It's like every time you go on the internet, someone's got something horrible to say. Usually they'll be, they're typing one-handed because they're furiously banging out a hate wank. Keeping that. So, I researched this particular bit of material, which is generally about bigotry and intolerance, and I really wanted to say something nice like, oh, you know everyone, dogs aren't racist. Dogs actually are racist. Dogs are racist. Dogs hate black faces. I know, shocking, eh? Now, and dogs, right, they don't know they're made of bones. Thank you for the one laugh at the back there. So that's the kind of level of intelligence you need, basically, to be racist. Might keep that. Okay. So, once upon a time, being homophobic, it was a social... Hang on, what am I saying? It was socially unacceptable, like smoking. I expect in the old days, if you wanted to be homophobic, you had to go and stand in the... You had to go outside and... Oh, fuck.
Go outside and
Pretend bus stop. You had to go outside. do you want to go up here and do this?
No, you're doing very well.
Thank you, darling.
Marvellous.
Right, hang on, I've got to rewind. I expect now
outside.
in the pretend bus stop.
We're not
We're not having a fag. It's socially unacceptable, like smoking, so you have to go to the pretend bus stop to do it.
Yes.
Right, you with me?
Is it shaggy? Yeah.
No, it's being intolerant.
Oh, right, sorry.
Jesus. Okay.
Someone wants to go outside and have a fag.
Do you want to go outside and have a fag?
And shag.
If it's alright with you, I'm going to try and take this to its hideous conclusion. Alright, staggering in another terrible episode of my life staggers to an end. Okay, dogs, right. So, Islamophobia. I'm going to talk a little bit about Islamophobia, because Islamophobia is not a phobia, is it? When I'm in the Indian and my mate Naz comes along with the poppadoms, I don't get my lovely other half to come and put a glass over him and go and put him in the garden. You don't go for immersion therapy for Islamophobia, do you? Oh, you know, what we're going to do today to help with Islamophobia is that we're going to watch Disney's Aladdin while I massage you with these pages from the Quran. And you hear people say such fucking god-awful shit. I heard someone the other day say, well, it's all this terrorism, innit? It's all this terrorism. I just don't trust them anymore. Which to me is a little bit like saying, well, since the Titanic, I've not been able to look at a canoe. My ex's parents were fucking horrific people, and they were incredibly intolerant. And I remember going to visit them one day, and they were reading the Daily Mail or some such shit, and they said, we don't want any Muslims moving in around here. They'll just bring down the property prices. So in my search for a good joke, because I like to back my stuff up with facts, I had a look on the internet to see what brings down property prices. Any guesses?
Muslims.
Only if you read the Daily Mail, sir.
Scousers.
Yes.
And Scousers. If anyone got anything sensible to suggest? Sensible?
Shitty guys.
Have done it, people moving away.
People moving away. Okay, so
Meteors.
Stone Martins.
this is right, nobody's
Boris Johnson.
Hermaphrodites.
I really want to get to the
Who
end of
started it?
this. I'd like to finish this right.
My brother.
It's a thing comedy.
Mushroom.
Anyway, so I had a look, lovely audience, at what actually does bring down property prices. And the two things that bring down property prices the most, Japanese knotweed and pebble dashing.
No. Nobody likes pepper dashing.
So, unless you think that Muslims are incredibly fast growing and do terrible damage to your drains, or represent an urban return to the arts and crafts movement, I'm going to suggest that if you share that sentiment, then you're just a fucking bigot and you should fuck off to the pretend bus stop. Well, thank you, Rhyl. You've been an audience. I've been Vicky Chapman. Thank you very much.